I almost said I'm Maddie. What?
Again? For the second time?
What is wrong with me?
I don't know. You almost did that a couple episodes ago.
Having an identity crisis. I'm Karina.
I'm Maddie.
Welcome to Everything But the Fairy Tale Sink. This week we are covering the Babylonian, Assyrian, Sumer. It's kind of a complicated, but we'll say Babylonian for ease, legend of the Scorpion Men, which go by another name, which I will mention once, but I'm not going to try to do it a lot. You get to do your recommendation first, because I've been doing it first for a while.
My recommendation is go to a store, any store, and get things to do a self-care night. So maybe you get a new nail polish, or you get a face mask, or just something that you can like wind down and just relax. Maybe some coffee or some ice cream. Just take some time for you and unwind. Because we're filming this during finals week, and I need that.
Yeah, I get to go study for a final right after this.
So finals week and moving.
My recommendation is find, I've recommended a couple of times this, but find a bookstore with a cafe in it. Like something similar to this is what I meant. Yeah, find a bookstore with a cafe in it. A friend and I went to this adorable little bookstore. It's not little, it's huge. But their cafe just opened back up and their food was so good. We are going way back in time this week to Mesopotamia, which is the place of the oldest civilizations in the world. Specifically, we're looking at Babylonia, which is the kingdom, and then the capital city is Babylon, but I'm using the two kind of interchangeably. And this was first seen around the 23rd century BC. And this was also the religious center of the Assyrian/Akkadian Empire. I already mentioned this. There's a lot of names used for these cultures at the time. I think it's a little bit convoluted, but yeah, mostly using Babylonian. The name for the creature that we're talking about today is Akrabwamalu, which I know I butchered, and it's really hard to pronounce, so we're going to be referring to them as the Scorpion Men. A note, they were also seen in the Jiraf district in Iran, so we know their reach was beyond Babylon, but we're focusing on the Babylonian version today because that's the clearest from the records we have, which we do have records.
Thank you, ancient Mesopotamians.
They're mostly like carvings and stuff like that, but we do have records.
Hey, it's better than a lot of mythologies where it's just like
true,
changed over time because oral tradition, or it's just like non-existent. Look at you, Snorri.
So think about what you know about the Scorpion. Honestly, what do you know about the Scorpion?
I don't like them.
All right. Fair enough. But
they're gross. They sting you. They're scary. There's a pet store in my town that sells them as pets.
Not gonna lie, which you're not gonna get this reference, but maybe some of our viewers will. I just thought of Scorpia from She-Ra, who is an absolute doll, but not at all accurate to a real scorpion.
Yeah, I don't understand that reference.
But thinking about the Scorpion, it is not that surprising that they were used as the base for a warrior species. They are considered by biologists to be living fossils. I
really don't like them, but I can completely understand how they could inspire a warrior race.
They are kind of cool. I got some facts. They are kind of cool. So their essential form has stayed the same for nearly 400 million years. And they're native to every continent except Antarctica.
I don't know how I feel about that, because that's kind of cool. But also, how are they still alive?
I have more questions. They occupy an incredible amount of ecosystems, from the tallest mountains to thousands of feet underground, and then from deserts to rainforests. So they can pretty much survive in any location. And they can
if they weren't as scary, they might be kind of cool.
Yeah, I like them from a distance. They can survive without food for a year and can survive without water indefinitely. There's around 25 species that can kill a human.
God went wild when he made these things.
So the one that historians think the Scorpion Men are based off of is the Middle Eastern variety known as the Death Stalker.
No.
And that is among a few select species, which are considered the most deadly, that have complex neurotoxins in their sting. Have I traumatized you enough?
I don't like that. The Chris Evans thing, I don't like it.
Yes.
I don't like it. That is how I feel. I don't like it.
Uh-huh. So, now we're going to go into the legends. Imagine a centaur. Now, change the body from a horse to a scorpion. That's
in my mind, I'm picturing the scorpion guy from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
1 second, I forgot what he looks like.
He's literally like scorpion body, big buff man up top. That's what I picture. Am I wrong?
That's actually fairly accurate, yeah.
Wait, I knew I was onto something.
So yeah, that's a pretty good summary of what they look like. They're very well suited for war, as they have the human ability to wield weapons like swords and bows. I think bows are what they most commonly use. But they also have that lovely stinger, and it's probably the Deathstalker tail, by the way. And they are massive, as according to legend, their heads touch the sky.
No.
Are you having a fun time?
No.
I'm realizing I'm just bringing a lot of things to the table that have just traumatized you.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy collies.
Mm-hmm. Can we go back to like one of your fun things that you've covered?
Maybe.
Can we go back to mermaids?
I was thinking casket girls, because that's mermaids, also creepy, but...
Mermaids, casket girls, Loki, any of those.
I'm
here for a good time, not a threatening time.
You brought Tech to the table, and I will still hold that against you, so I don't feel bad at all.
It's like we're at a gambling table and we're slapping things down.
So to find out where these scorpion men came from, we have to go all the way back to the Mesopotamian creation legend, which is and I'm probably butchering this, the Enuma Elish. In the beginning, so it's a little bit different from the creation legend.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think that's how you pronounce it.
Sweet. I mean, it's really hard to tell with like Babylonian because it is a dead language.
Yeah.
So, trying our best. So, in the beginning, there was chaotic, undifferentiated water. There was just water. Then it was divided into Apsu, who was the sweet waters, and Tiamat, who was the bitter waters. These two birthed the younger gods, which is kind of a fun twist because it's not the traditional earth and sky. Anyways.
I was going to say, I had to read about this in my world mythologies class, and we had to read about Tiamat and all her lovely stories.
Yes. She could get like 3 parts. Anyways, the younger gods were too disruptive for Apsu's liking, so he started thinking about killing them, because that's apparently the only way to resolve conflict.
Yes. Violence is the only answer.
Tiamat warned her youngest son, Enki, to behave before anything bad could happen, but instead, Enki then turned around and killed his dad, which Tiamat was a little, for lack of better terms, pissed. And so she created a monster army.
Yeah, why not?
Fight the gods.
Why not?
Tiamat, pissed off, creates monster army, and the scorpion men emerged from this army. So in the end, this is severely reduced, by the way, but she was defeated and slain. That is a story all on its own. But
yeah, it is. It's a good story, though.
It is. It's a real good story. But after that, the monsters all had to be dealt with. So the scorpion men were given, and by given, I mean demoted to guard duty. So in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is one that I'm a little bit more familiar with, but I don't know a lot about it still, they're given the task of guarding the gates at the mountains of Mashu. Inside those mountains is the land of darkness. Their master is Shamash, who brings the sun. Each morning they open the doors for him, and then in the evening they close the doors behind him.
What a fun job.
Right?
Just open and close doors all day.
It's like
you're a glorified bellboy.
It's like in Zootopia when Judy has to be the parking cop.
They're glorified bellboys. Door attendants.
Somebody with editing skills, please do like a Scorpion Man, like Dwayne Johnson from The Scorpion King, but in the uniform of Esteban from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Please. I will pay $5 for that. No more than $5, but I will pay $5.
Get out.
Nah, I'm not done yet. So they somehow could warn travelers of danger, which the source I was using was like, oh, they possibly have the ability of foresight. It's probably because they're literally so tall their heads touch the sky. They could kill with a gaze, though it's not really specified how. And they
probably were like Medusa, you just...
Something like that. So they were definitely feared. Like,
I'm trying to kill you with my gaze.
It's not working, buddy. Overall, they were a fairly neutral force, but they were to be, like, respected. However, they would let anybody enter the Land of Darkness. That's mostly because if you're stupid enough to go in, they don't care, because you're not coming out.
Fair enough.
There's literally no way you're coming out of there, so they're like,
fair enough.
Go for it, buddy. And that brings us to the end of the episode. It's another kind of short one, which is a little nice.
I mean, when you're dealing with a culture that has basically been lost to time, it's hard to find details.
Yeah. So this was a fun little one. I got to see Maddie squirm.
I don't like the way that
No, I didn't like it either. That you pointed out.
No.
I got to see Maddie be uncomfortable with what we were talking about.
There you go. That's better. I don't.
Anyway, that brings us to the end. What do you think?
I mean, I don't like scorpions. I mean, you said some pretty cool facts about them. Don't get me wrong, but I still don't like them. And the name Deathstalker is terrifying, but also kind of sounds like a wrestler name.
I will say, they're not the scariest looking scorpion. They can definitely kill you. Like, they're considered to be one of the most deadly species, if not the most deadly. But they're not that scary. I'm sending you a picture.
They're bright yellow.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's not that bad.
I would still leave them alone. Anyways, next week we are going back to the, land of Ireland and Scotland and the general Celtic region. And we are talking about the children of Lear. This time it is Lear, it is not liar, like every other time I've mispronounced that stupid word. But anyways, we are talking about curses, swans, and old age.
That sounds like a good time.
It is a good time. Hi, we were idiots and we forgot to put our wishes into the last episode, which was this episode. I don't know why I'm talking in past tense. We forgot our wishes for this episode, the Scorpion Men episode. Karina, what's your wish?
My wish is that if you're anywhere, you do not run into one of the scorpions that has neurotoxins, because then you're screwed. My
wish is that if you're anywhere, you don't run into anybody you don't want to see. I'm about to go, at the time of filming this, I'm about to go home for the summer, and I'm looking forward to it, but also I don't want to run into anybody.
Yeah, I've run into people when I went home and it was not comfortable.
Nope.
Anyways.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, go follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and website will hopefully be up by the time this episode goes up because it goes out in August.
Yes.
And if we hit 50 subscribers here and 50 followers on Instagram, I will buy a giant cardboard cutout of Loki and he will live in the background of our videos. If we hit 100, I will buy Thor and he will live in the videos as well. And if we hit 1,000, my stepdad Steve will milk the cow at Hagen's.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is a Northwest grocery store.
It is a Northwest grocery store with a giant cow.
It's not a real cow.
It's not. It's a giant plastic cow that sits at the front of the store. He will milk it if we hit 1,000 subscribers and followers.
I will say it's going to take a lot more than 1,000 for me to get a One Direction tapestry.
If we hit 5,000,
I'm not spending $60. I am not getting a One Direction tapestry unless we are getting ad revenue from this. So if we ever get sponsored by, what's a good one?
If you ever get sponsored by, what's a common?
HelloFresh, Raid Shadow Legends, Native Deodorant, Function of Beauty.
I was going to say, if we ever get sponsored by one of those very typical YouTube sponsors, Karina will buy a giant One Direction tapestry because we will then at least be getting paid.
Yeah.
So then valuable grocery money won't be going towards...
Would that be considered a tax write-off?
I'm sure it might be.
Oh, God. Anyways.
You know what? No. What?
No. What?
You know what's next? Snitches end up in ditches.
Snitches apparently end up in the Land of Darkness forever because they're stupid enough to go there.
That's true. Side note, if we ever have to pay royalties to Paul Bettany, I will pay royalties to Paul Bettany.
That would...
I will sign my soul.
Getting noticed by Paul Bettany, which
I will sign my soul over to Paul Bettany.
I will pay royalties to Paul Bettany if I also get to meet Elizabeth Olsen.
Anyways, Paul Bettany, not Paul Bunyan, Steve.
Thank you for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
I hope you also got a little bit of the creepy crawlies because I had fun.
We will see you next week and we'll be in the same clothing.
Yep.